And the main thing that I learned about hunting and being away and out in the wild is like it's easier to show your true personality,
right?
Because my dad would just like open up and
I think you saw a side of him that I never did see, you know, when we were younger, because you guys did that stuff together and I really wasn't a part of it. So
you could have been.
I could have been.
Go hunting.
I
know they do say like you're not a real man unless you go, you know, hunt your own animal, kill it, and eat it. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm not a real man.
Yeah, I guess I'm not a real man either.
We can make both of you real men.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think they're the perfect balance of like kind of letting us figure out life for ourselves, but also being there to support us, you know, and to fall back on when we've ever needed to.
Yeah.
So so that's something like I definitely try to bring forward for my kids. I have 4 kids and they're awesome. And, you know, honestly, they're such good little people. I'm so proud of them. And they've been influenced by Shane. I mean, I had 3 kids at the time when he got hurt, and they were little, you know, so for the most part, they don't remember a whole lot before that.
And that's too bad, you know?
Yeah, but they, at the same time, they accept it. And it's not like there's this weird thing. Like, it's just, they just accept
I've never felt like uncomfortable in that way, like that someone was judging me or anything like that. Being around family, it's like I don't think any of our brothers and sisters and mom and dad think that way. Yeah.
Well, but if anything, too, like I had like a couple of things that just, you know, have happened over the years that have been kind of influenced by Shane. Like one of the things that's kind of cool was my oldest. He was, I think, 12 at the time. We love baseball. So he's playing baseball. He's doing awesome. Beginning of the season, he gets hit hard in the wrist with the ball.
And it
broken
broke
arm.
it. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Broken. So he's got a cast, you know, his thumb is casted. Halfway up his fingers is casted. And
so he can't open or close his hand.
No.
It's like totally,
The wrist
And was that on his left hand?
It was on his left hand.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So that's the glove hand.
Correct.
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
So anyway, he's like, oh crap, like beginning of the season, this season is a bust. He goes to watch his team play and, you know, support the team. And he's there for like 5 minutes and he comes up to me and he's like, Mom, can you go home and get my baseball pads, my stuff? Like, I want to play. And I'm like, dude, broken arm.
You can't, buddy.
What do you think you're going to do out there? And so, but he's determined. So he's got a little buddy that's a left-hander. He borrows a glove
First
from
base.
him, plays first base, bats with a broken arm. And he literally told me, and maybe this was just him.
And he's
was
playing
one
with
of
the
the better
opposite.
people on the team.
He played good.
That
it was
is
so
awesome.
funny. He'd get up to bat and people are like,
What are
look
you
at
doing,
this
kid?
broken armed little kid. What's he going to do? And then he'd knock one out. But he told me, he goes, Mom, I'm like Shane. I take no days off. So it's kind of cool to see like.
That is awesome.
Yeah. And I was like, well, parent of the year, whatever, play baseball. I can't say no to that, you know?
Yeah.
And it worked out. But yeah,
really
like,
cool.
of course they, you know, Shane's coached him in baseball and so they look up to him.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like no excuses, guys.
Yeah.
Like get out there and do it. And he did. And it was cool.
That's really cool. See, Shane, you're doing so much, man.
He's inspiring the next generation.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So anyway,
great.
but you know, when he was in the hospital in the beginning, when you're in the ICU, nobody under 12 can come into the ICU.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So he couldn't see the kids for a while.
Nope.
And when he finally could, he was so like
Happy.
Shane was so happy when he saw the
And
little kids
I
come
couldn't
in.
even talk at the time, but
No.
you could like I have pictures of me with the kids and like the someone holding the kids up and like me being able to see him.
He totally like his face.
That was
just,
so
like
Okay, so you just said it. So when we release this, you better have that picture.
Yeah.
Yes.
Put that on there
Yeah.
because you know they're her kids, and like I think that would be cool because
Yeah,
I want to
for
see
sure.
that now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so, and again, like with a brain injury, they always tell you like every brain injury is different. You do not know how this person is going to be afterwards. Like you don't know. And so for me, like knowing my relationship with Shane and knowing Shane before, of course, in the beginning, it's like, we just need him to survive, you know, survive the next day. And it's like hour by hour. And so then when he starts to, you know, you're like, okay, he's going to make it, but how's he going to be after?
Yeah.
And my biggest,
what changes is his personality.
Right.
Are we ever going to even get the old Shane?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Which was always like the biggest thing in the front of my mind is like physical stuff. Like we can overcome that, whatever. Sure. But if
personality,
like I love him and I love who he is. I want my brother back. And so, you know, when I started seeing little glimpses of that coming back was so awesome. Like my second son, he was, I don't know, like 3 or 4.
I can't believe he was that young. It's been so long.
It's been a while,
man. I know. So he's 12 now. So yeah, I guess he would have just barely been 4 at the time. He comes in one of the days before Shane was really even talking, and he's wearing a shirt with Darth Vader on it. Yeah. And my little 4-year-old comes running in the room to see Uncle Shane, and Shane sees the Darth Vader shirt and he starts humming the Darth Vader, like the Death March, whatever. Yep, exactly. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's the best thing ever. And then like I would just crack a joke about something and, you know, he would react and laugh to it. I was like, all right, we're going to be okay. He's there. We're going to be
I would say, and I didn't know you before, but I would say that your personality even got better.
Yeah.
That you became, because you became a stronger person as well. And we've talked about this, you know, even on the podcast. I just feel like, and you guys probably noticed that as well. Not only was that, but he was also like, became stronger mentally, more focused on the things that truly matter in life, you know, all that kind of stuff.
No, totally. I think anyone who's been through any kind of anything traumatic or whatever, just life trials in general.
Well, any hard thing that anyone's going through.
Those are the best people. Like it totally gives you a different perspective.
Yeah.
And so anyway, his personality was still there. I was like, okay,
we're good.
Like I said, with anything physical, like we can overcome that, you know, things might not be the same as they were before, but he's still Shane.
Yeah.
So that was huge.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear.
So can I, from your perspective, maybe ask you, like, because I know you kind of glimpsed on it a little bit, but like how did you really feel when you first heard about his situation before you went and saw him in the hospital? Like how did that?
What was going on emotionally?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like totally like kick to the gut, like.
And when did you guys find out? Like, did Mom call you that night?
It was the night of. I was.
Where were you at
I was
time?
At a friend's house. You know, just hanging out with their family, and got a call, and it's just kind of like one of those, like your heart just drops, and you know, because you don't know like what's going to happen. Like I said in the beginning, it's like hour by hour. It's not even like let's make it through a day. It's like things change so fast. And
it was like anything could trigger that, like loud noises or whatever. Like they had to monitor me nonstop.
I mean, like
except for the time that you wanted to go to the bathroom yourself.
They already knew they weren't going to control him at that point. But like, you know, they have a monitor in his brain for the pressure, like detecting the pressure, and you're sitting there and he's not even awake, and you're just sitting there watching the machines, and you're like, is that good? Is that bad? Why is it doing that?
That's got to be because I've never been through something like that. Like, I respect you so much for going through that. Like, that had to be super hard.
Yeah, well, I can say, like, I am not in any way, shape, or form a religious person. Yeah. I'm just not. I prayed more than I ever have in my entire life. Like, you know, but it is. It's stressful. It's, but of course, like, you know, you want to be there, and you want to, it just feels like you have no control.
Yeah.
And so that's the hard thing, is it's like, what can I do to make it better? And there's absolutely nothing you can do.
Yeah. And you're just watching these things, and people come in, maybe you can ask them questions.
Watching the machines and wondering what they mean.
And then it's like, okay, well, you go home and do a Google search on a brain injury, and it's like, okay,
right.
well, I shouldn't have done that. Maybe you know what I mean?
Then
like you're trying
fear.
to think okay, I just need to wrap my head around this. I need to learn as much as I can, because somehow in your mind you want to control something.
Yeah. Yeah. That's human nature.
Yeah.
To want to control at least some part of every circumstance.
Right.
And that's hard to let go of.
Yeah.
Just trust.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
wow.
What it takes.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, that's good.
And then, the other thing that stood out to me with him is when the first word I ever heard him say was yeah. Like they would say do you want this? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want this? Yeah. It was yeah, no matter what it was. The question, the answer was yeah. But I thought that was cool because it wasn't no.
Yeah.
So I'm immediately it's a positive answer.
Sure.
And so I thought that was cool. So then when he got out of the hospital and he was getting out, and we made these shirts, and I think there was a picture posted, maybe with the episode you did with our mom, but where I had these shirts made and they just said Team Warner, and then the word in it was because that was what he always said. And I thought that was cool, because I'm like, I don't know how I would be in that situation, but I might opt towards the pessimistic, the no answer. I don't know. But I just thought it was cool that he was always it was always a positive, not a negative. So,
yeah, that's funny that you say that, because I remember that was my only thought, getting better. And so, and so that fits in really well to my entire story, because I think that's just I just didn't have any other choice. The choice was already made up. I would go harder every day in physical therapy, and just because I wanted to get back, and honestly, I wanted to be with my family again, and I wanted to just not let anyone down anymore.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you say that there was no option. You made that choice that there was no option, because there are other people that opt out, and they're just like, that's it.
Yeah.
Well,
and then they don't progress like you did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I feel like that was that other option of laying down and quitting.
Yeah,
it just wasn't even a thought.
Yeah, right.
Well, and you don't know how you would react in a certain situation until you're in it.
Yeah,
that's true.
I hope that if I was in that situation, that's how I would be.
You would, because you have that example.
Yeah,
you have somebody that you could lean on and just be like, okay, Shane did this. I can do this. I can get through this too, because I know somebody personally who I grew up with that has as well. So I have that option as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and Shane and I talked about this a little bit. I said, you're interviewing all these people on the podcast that have these cool backstories and all this stuff that they have overcome. And, my little life, I haven't had anything major like that. I mean, everybody has their trials and everybody's going through something, and not to discount that, but
just being there for me, I can't imagine the worry and the frustration and that kind of thing that goes through your mind.
Yeah.
And my only thought was just survive and move forward and keep going. But your thoughts were kind of more rational, because you knew the complete situation. Yeah.
Different perspective.
For sure. Yeah. Totally different perspective for everybody. And, it would be probably interesting to talk to, like you said, my dad, or, Christina, Dustin, anyone, because we're all different in the way that we handle and react to different things. So I'm sure their experience was not the same as my experience.
Yeah.
But everybody kind of handles it and deals with it their own way. My coping mechanism, I guess, a lot of times is humor, a sense of humor, which means I have probably
dark
kind of a dark, inappropriate, all of it. I just everything. I feel like that just, I can get through life a lot better if I can laugh about things, because sometimes, this life is crazy and you never know what's going to happen. And if you can't laugh at yourself and laugh at things, it's kind of miserable sometimes because a